Oh. Something's coming over me. Oh, I'm so dizzy I can't see. I can't make out the forest for the trees. Oh, it's so good, baby, when you're at the wheel. And I can't believe the way I feel. It's such a rush just being with you. You got me in the rush hour. Ooh, you're taking me. You take me to the rush hour. Ooh, you're taking me. You take me to the rush hour.
Greetings! Hello! What did you think to that then? You can record stuff on this IV cam thing, and then I can chuck it in OpenShot and do random intros literally minutes before I'm going live. So there we go. That's how that worked. So let's go back to the commentaries and have a look who's actually here. Also, tell me if you can hear me all right. So we've got Rob from Beards and Bangers. Greetings, Rob. Hope you're having a good internet-filled day today. And he's made an actual topic suggestion, which I've written down on a piece of paper. Look, an actual piece of paper. I don't know whether anybody remembers those. And this is a pen. And then Simone's here, and she says, "Copycat no fair." So I assume Simone must have suggested that. Or did she have it on her stream? I think she might have had it on her stream. And then there's me. I'm here, apparently. Simone added electric motorcycles, so that's good. Everything Cars is here. He says, "Evening all. Good evening. Hope you're doing well." And then that guy from SETI Alpha 5 says, "Hey, man. Hope you're good. I'm good. Hope you are too." Jolly Juju brings forward a topic for us to discuss. And the topic is pet bunnies, and the question is, are they cool or what? And they obviously are crap. So we shall not be talking about pet bunnies. Thank you very much. And then that guy from SETI Alpha 5 says he's got some news about his book, and he doesn't know whether to share it now or later. Completely up to yourself there. Adam's here. All right, Adam. Hope you're doing well. He's had an offer to publish the first story with the option on others. Now that is good. Congratulations. Everybody should congratulate that guy from SETI Alpha 5 there. Yeah, brilliant. Hopefully this is some big money making thing that you're just on the brink of before you boom and you're making the next Harry Potter set trilogies, whatever 7 films is. Rob says my phone died as the link was on too many Facebook groups. I hope not. And Mark's here. Good evening, Mark. Hope you're doing well. Tree song, Simone. Oh, tree song, yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm glad everybody was liking that. It was in tune, just. That guy from SETI Alpha 5. The only electric car worth it is a scale electric, actually, which is another good topic. In fact, I don't know why I'm writing it down. I might as well just go straight into that one. Scale electric. Who had scale electrics as a kid? And what sets did you have, or track, or cars? And what was your favourite car? I remember being very young, probably 10-ish. My dad bought me a set off someone from work, and this was back in the day when the cars weren't any print on them. They were just one colour. And I think they were Ferraris. I think they were like Le Mans Ferraris. Or it might have been a Ferrari and a GT40, something like that, actually. And we had like a basic oval track. I think they were like like 8 corners and 8 straights or something. It was like the most basic thing, but I remember really liking that. And then later on, when my brother got a bit older, my gran bought us an XR3. I think they were XR3s at the time. I don't think they were XR3Is. Was the Mark III Escort an injection XR3i or just an XR3? Can't remember. I think it might have been a 3i. Anyway, whatever. 2 of those. So we had a silver one and a red one. They were kind of cool. They got little door mirrors and the spoilers and the lights lit up and stuff. What else did we have? One of us definitely had I had a Ferrari F1 car where it had got the nose at the front and then the wing was on top of the nose. That was cool. I'm sure one of us had a Lotus where when it went round corners, the wheels turned. Well, yeah, we had quite a lot of stuff like that. Don't know what happened to it. Last time I remember it being, and we're in like a big Dunlop sports bag underneath mum and dad's house, but it's not there anymore, so I don't know. I'm just not being there. Simone says she had a Hornby train set. Simone, did you watch my video on the train model railway show? It must have been last year. At Grenoside, that was good. I was surprised how much detail and how much people are actually into that sort of stuff. There was some really good dioramas made, like from that little double zero stuff. I think it is. It's like tiny little things. They were really cool. And there were a guy that had got like a fairly normal sized setup, but in like a part of a bigger scene. But it got like Starsky and Hutch and Huggy Bear and stuff on it. That were quite cool. Simone, tell us what Hornby train set it was. And everybody else, tell us what stuff you've got. I had a diesel shunter railway track, but the thing I found with railways, it's a bit like Lego sets, I suppose, in a way. You build them up, and then you've got to take them down if you want to do something else with them. Oh, go and have a look for it then, Simone. I think it's on the Days Out playlist. It's not very long. I'm sure it's only like 10 minutes because I did feel was slightly out of place, I must admit. And yeah, I should have actually spoken to more people, but there was some really interesting stuff. There was like a London Underground set as well, which was apparently quite a new thing. Oh, right. A Night Freight Class 58. Let's have a look what one of them looks like. Night Freight Class 58. Ah, cool. Yes. So it's a bit like, bit like the diesel shunter, and the diesel shunter was smaller and was used to shift stuff around the to shift rolling stock around the railway yard. So yeah, that's cool. I appreciate that. I'm pretty much on board with that. Rob says he still has a Tamiya Super Sabre in his mother's garage. Right, hang on. I'm just gonna. I wonder if this is the same one that I've got in my garage. Let's have a look. Oh no, I do remember that one there. No, we've got. I can't remember what it's called now, but we've got two lunch boxes and another buggy. I'm sure it's 2-wheel drive. This buggy. It could be the same chassis, but yeah, I quite like radio control car stuff. But that's another hobby that you can spend way too much money on. Like things just seem to be crazy for it. There used to be, well, there might still be. In fact, in not far from here, there's a go-kart track, and I think it's every month they do radio control car racing around go-kart track. That's cool. But near Stocksbridge, there's a like a leisure centre, and they used to do indoor races in there, and they have like tire warmers and all sorts. It's bonkers. Mark said I had a Matchbox racetrack. I had a spring built into the track that only Matchbox cars fitted into. Not very quick. Still got it in the loft. That's quite cool. I like that. We had, I think, I'm sure it was Matchbox and not Hot Wheels. It was like a double track, and it was like flexible, and then you had like plastic bits that molded them together and stuff. That was cool. Me and Mark used to make, not Mark, but my brother Mark used to make little skiers out of Lego and send them down. See if the legs fell off. That was quite cool. That guy from SETI Alpha 5, who I assume is not his real name. If I could remember his real name, I'd use it. I had a 007 scale extra with Aston Martin DB5. Also had a bunch of F1 cars and Le Mans cars. They're quite good sets. The newer ones are like, I know it's like everybody prefers old stuff, but the newer ones are far better. I actually got my son, obviously years ago, the new Beatles scale electric set. That were quite cool. And I remember my mate had the minis. I think they were called mini ha-has or something. But the contacts could spin all the way around, so you could basically drift around a corner and come back on yourself. That's probably cool. Someone says, as you could probably guess, I didn't have dolls as a kid. I didn't. That's a good topic. That is a good topic. Of us, though, it's only really relevant to those of us who have had children, but it's difficult to buy things for kids that aren't necessarily marketed for boys or girls. I think, or at least it used to be 20 years ago. I don't know what it's like now, obviously, but yeah, I just even. I'm pretty sure even walking around toy shops as an adult, like you do when you meet, there's a lot of things that are just sort of marketed for one. What's the word I'm looking for? Sex or another. I can't remember what the proper word is. Gender. I was going to say genre, but gender or another. Or maybe I'm digging myself into a hole because I'm not properly researched this. But that's certainly the case 20 years ago. I don't know whether it's the same now. But yeah, I had an Action Man with that Hawkeye thing where you did that thing on the back of his head and he went like that. And he also had blonde hair. And apparently it took me mum ages to find one that had got blonde hair. Don't know why I wanted a blonde haired Action Man. Who knows? Could be a thing. Oh my God, we're rolling on here. Right, okay. A Matchbox Gargantua robot. Now that sounds amazing. And I need to know what it looks like. Gargantua. Matchbox. Oh, man, that's amazingly cool. That's pretty cool, that. I mean, the thing is as well, that's another question. Another question that I'll just highlight Simone's post there, chat post, so I know where we are. Who would be, which camp are you in? Are you in Hot Wheels camp or Matchbox camp? And I was always, and maybe still am, but I've not branched out into buying toy cars for a while. I was always in the Matchbox camp because Matchbox cars seem to be more realistic and down to earth and attainable is a good word. Attainable. Whereas the Hot Wheels ones were like bonkers things. But having said that, I don't think I've got one up here. No. Having said that, the Hot Wheels ones do like character ones as well, don't they? So I've got a couple of 007 ones. I've got Homer Simpson's car and the car that Homer Simpson designed. I've got the Ghostbusters Ecto one. What else have I got? I'm sure I've got some other stuff. Like character ones, they're quite cool. And even like the normal cars that aren't really normal. Like I've got a couple of mini vans that are like done up as like super fast things, but I still like the Matchbox ones. My favorite Matchbox car as a kid was a Ferrari, a bit like the what was his name? He drove a Ferrari on a TV program. Magnum PI one, but this had a roof, so it's probably a different one. I'm rubbish with Ferrari models; they all look same from that era, and it was just red, and it was like a lovely, lovely Matchbox car. We were a bit battered, and then at school, you was used to like let them go down this little concrete slope near the playground. And one day, my mate stepped on it and flattened all four wheels, like he slid downhill on it. So I bought another one, which was the same car, but it were like different colours. I think it was like a rally one, and it was like blue on top and red on bottom. And I never really liked that one. It weren't the same. It just weren't the same anymore. Oh, God, old Norman. And Adam says he was also Hornby as a Hornby. Okay. Even had the Mallard, which was awesome. Fortunately, I escaped that and found Warhammer 40,000, a much more affordable hobby. Oh, Warhammer, that's another thing. Like, I used to love painting Warhammer stuff. I would crap at it, but I used to love doing it. And I've probably said like a bazillion times before. I bought Space Hulk a few years ago now, just because it got gene stealers in like the proper original ones, and I loved them. And my idea is to paint them all up really cool. I've not even played it. What a waste! What an absolute waste! The original Space Hulk. Loved that game. Mark says, I had a train set, Hornby Triang, red. My brother has nicked it all and has a huge layout. That's quite good. Well, for your brother, not for you. Yeah, there's like train stuff. There's actually at the British Motor Museum, they had a model railway weekend, but that's some sort of massive stuff. I have to admit that one of my guilty pleasures is watching Hornby, a model. Oh my God, what's it called? The TV program Hornby, a model business or something. I love that program. I don't like everybody that's in it. I mean, a lot of them are like youngins and they're using computers, but they don't seem to have any idea what it is they're actually designing, which is a bit disappointing. But yeah, I love that. But I'd love to work there. I'd love to work in some of their departments, just building stuff. There's one guy, I'm sure it's one guy that literally somebody designs like an Airfix or something, and he has to build it and then tell them what's wrong with it, and then they can fix it. I'd love to be doing that. That'd be right good. That'd be right good. That. Oh, in fact, let me go and fetch something. This might be of interest to you with the mechanical mind. Now, I was quite disappointed in myself. Hello. Quite disappointed in myself when I received this for my birthday from my dear father. And I've either never seen this car before, or I've seen this car before, but never realised the significance of it. And I'm not sure whether it'll show up on the camera because the lights aren't very bright. Oh yes, well look at that, it's showing up fine. What are we worrying about? So twist it so people can see it, Simon. Come on. Right, so can you see what's weird about that car? Anybody see? I'll just scroll down to the bottom. Can anybody see what's strange about the layout on that car? Come on, somebody give me an answer. I'm going to stay here. We'll stay here all night until somebody answers. I can't open my bottle with one hand. Quite possibly, Barry. Yeah. So that was a thing. I'd never seen that before, or if I had, I'd never noticed it. But yeah, like it's got a transverse engine at the back rather than it being longitudinal. How cool's that? And obviously, it's a Honda, so I'm very interested in it. But how cool's that? I need to buy some paint and do that. But I love that. I love that. It's fantastic. It's very nice. I'm going to go and put it back. Hang on, I'll put an advert on while I go and put it back.
Today's video is sponsored by Spontex. Handy, comfortable. For a close and comfortable fit. Oh yeah.
Did you enjoy that? Was it everything you ever dreamed of? Let's go back to the comments, right? Scroll up for a million. So Barry, written it down, Barry, says, I never had a train set. We didn't have the space in the house. I had lots of I need to say matchstick, Matchbox cars and Lego stuff. But I grew out of toys when I was about 12 or 13. I'm trying to think what I were into when I was 12 or 13. Apart from Cyndi Lauper. And then Mark says to Juju, I had Netherland Dwarf. I thought we were still on about toys. And then when I saw Dwarf, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be some sort of 40,000 thing. I had Netherland Dwarf rabbits till my teens. The dog was scared stiff of them. Yeah, Juju's a dwarf. Well, Juju's one is a dwarf. Sputnik. Oh, and Barry says, does anybody remember the Thunderbirds Tracy Island? I had one of those when no one could get one. It was actually a bit crap and didn't do anything. Yeah, I remember as well on Blue Peter, they did a special, didn't they, on how you could make your own Tracy Island because like everybody wanted one. And we just weren't any. We just weren't any anywhere. I never really got Thunderbirds. What was the other one? Ooh, Terrorhawks. Terrorhawks was far better. Terrorhawks was amazing. In fact, I might watch some of that on YouTube again, just to disappoint myself how crap it is. Simone says she was pro Matchbox, so we'll go. I'll start a list. Right, we've got. Hang on. Oh my god, I'm running out of paper. No wonder nobody uses it anymore. Matchbox. Had theirs. So we've got 3 for Matchbox because there's me, Simone, and Rob. Mark went for Matchbox as well. Okay. Simone added and Corgi. Corgi didn't do small stuff though? Their stuff were a bigger scale, weren't it? From memory. Matt says Matchbox and hello. Greetings, Matt. Hope you are well. Magnum PI sounds like a Triumph. Rutledge Wood is currently hosting a Hot Wheels TV show. Rutledge Wood is hosting a Hot Wheels TV show. Elaborate. I know there was because another good thing with Hot Wheels, which nobody's said Hot Wheels yet, so I feel kind of a bit sorry for Hot Wheels now. So I feel I have to back them up. They do that thing, don't they? Like they seem to do it. I don't know. Well, they've done it a couple of times at least. I don't know whether they do it every year, where you can send in a picture of your car and the winner gets their car made into a Hot Wheels. I've always considered sending in a picture of Margaret with green wheels because that'd fit, but there's far more tuned cars out there than Margaret. Well, she's only got green wheels. That's the only thing. What else do they do? And they do like crazy, like real life versions of their cars that they've made, don't they? To travel around, and maybe that's what Matt's on about there. Usually says, Mark, your dog was scared of the rabbits. Bless it. It sounds like it was a very sweet dog. No, he just knew how evil rabbits were. Mark says, Matchbox cars originally came in Matchbox Types boxes, which is true. I have some of those real old cars, but no original Matchbox boxes. Blooming it's a tongue twister. My mate bought me a reissue of an old car that comes in a blister pack, but with the Matchbox box underneath it. That's kind of cool. I mean, I'm never going to open it. Matt says, as a kid, my best friend had a train set, but I preferred to play with his sister's tunnel. Oh, Matt. And to think I showed that on the screen as well. Awful. You need 2 computers like Jen from the IT crowd. The shoes are. IT crowd is quite honestly one of the bestest ones, bestest programs for them. The guy that wrote them, or guy that co-wrote them, I think it was just it was 2, weren't they? Same people that did Father Ted, Big Train, Alan Partridge, like co-wrote that as well. There's loads of stuff that they've done. Father Ted's very good as well. Oh, now we just caught up to the bit where I asked that ridiculous question and threatened you all with not moving on until someone answered it. Matt says, yeah, it's not got enough seats. I've literally no idea what he's on about, unless he's on about that Formula One car. Computers. I see what you mean now, Simone. Yeah, computers. Barry says, sadly, the next F1 car was a death trap. It was magnesium, and when it crashed, it immolated the driver. Oh, yeah, because like magnesium's quite catchy fiery, isn't it? Quite melty. Adam said, I'll let you know when I grow out of toys. They just keep getting bigger these days. Going back to the Warhammer 40k, because we've got back to an Adam comment on there. It's one of the things I really struggle with, because from an aesthetic point of view, I really like Warhammer stuff. But from the point of view of actually using them in a game, I'm not really that into that kind of thing. I used to play 40k with my friend when we were at school, and we built like a board, and we could put like different towers and stuff on it and stuff. But I never really got into it, to be honest. We used to get like half an hour into a game, and I'd be bored and just start making my people run off rather than just fire at anybody. And it used to really annoy him that you were having to chase me around the battlefield. And just stupid things like that. But yeah, I like the aesthetics of it, and there's some like really cool stuff like the dreadnoughts and what were the tanks called? They were quite cool. But then like the hybrid gene stealers, I were like, no, I'm not fussed about them. So what are they called now? The ones the normal ones that wear power armor and stuff. Space Marines. There's the Space Marines I like with the power fists. That's my favorite thing. The original stuff. Matt says Dwarf Rabbit, also known as an overused vibrator. Just think about what you're doing there, Matt. Just think about it. Am I going to be left vulnerable to all these types of comments when I drive down to Rob's on Saturday? Barry says he has a Corgate 164 Capri. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think if I had any Corgis then. I thought they only did I thought the Matchbox ones were like that and Corgi ones were like that, but I am no expert. And Mark confirms Corgi did small cars. Matt says they have contestants. So it's kind of the similar thing. So they have contestants design. This is going back to the Hot Wheels TV program. They have contestants design a car that they make full scale. Then the winner will be made into a Hot Wheels car. Quite crap, but watchable. What is it? What's it on? Is it on a YouTube thing? Because I think Car Throttle got involved with that last year. Yeah, because they did an off-road, an MX-5 they made off-road. Like they put massive chunky wheels on it or something. I'm sure it were an MX-5. Barry said FX did small, I assume that small cars and 00 train sets and the stuff too. The best thing they did was the super flight deck. Oh, is that like an aircraft carrier and then you got itchy bitty like, oh my god, what are they called? Aeroplanes. That's a good thing going back to Adam. So there was Warhammer Start again. Honestly, what am I doing? Warhammer 40,000. What was the stuff, Adam, that's Warhammer, but on a smaller scale? So like each one person is actually 5 tiny little people on a square and stuff. Is that Warhammer Epic or something? Something like that. I remember playing that as well. Matt says, I've got a Matchbox cart in a Matchbox. It's a build-yourself wooden kit. Is it a Morgan, then? Grain Linen, that's him. Matt's pre-ordered a couple of 6-inch Indiana Jones figures. Who wouldn't want their own short round? I don't get that one. What were I going to say? Oh, there's I think it's Matchbox. Are doing a van and a trailer and a Metro 6R4. Yeah, 6R4 on as well at the moment, which is something I'd quite like if I ever see where they're selling them. And Simone says, I played a first-person shooter on 360 called Warhammer 40,000. It was okay. It's pretty. I think it's that one I'm thinking of. It's pretty gruesome. They're good games though. I'll be sitting in the boot. That's not the naughty step, though, is it? Adam, I once had a friend say if we weren't using his dice, he'd accuse me of using weighted dice. Easiest way to win, just keep rolling 6s. Yeah, the people do get a bit precious about stuff on there, don't you? And Simone asks when I'm coming to see Project Pinky. I will have to arrange something. At the moment, I'm still in that phase of, because I'm training, I can't actually. Well, I've booked one day. I need to look when there's dates available. In fact, I'll do that. We'll get that organised. I'll book some dates, and whether a judge comes or whether she stays up here, because I don't know what she was planning on doing. Yeah, I'll come down. I'll see you, and I'll spend a day or two messing about down that side of the country, and then I might pop across and see my mate if he's not already moved back up here by then. Yeah, we'll get that organised, Simone. Remind me if I don't text you tomorrow, because I'm rubbish. When I get to work, my brain goes mental. Illegal streaming sites. Okay. Oh, that's where the program is. Oh, okay, I get you now, Matt. Simon, you should watch Marty's Matchbox Makeovers. Brilliant channel over in Australia. I sent him some cars to restore. Oh, I've seen some. I think I might have seen some of them accidentally. My dad did a bit of that as well. He got some. I assume they were probably my old cars from out of a toy box under house or something. And he painted them up. That's actually something I've thought about doing. No, don't give me another hobby. I don't need any more. Now then, Adam says, on the subject of making sports cars into off-roaders, have you seen what Super Fast Matt is working on? I don't know who Super Fast Matt is, but do tell us what he's working on. I mean, an off-roader and a sports car. Yeah, they're not at all the same. I was going to say they're pretty much the same ethos, just with bigger suspension, but I'm talking bull. Talking bull, man. Talking bull. So yeah, I'll unhide that. So we got to the bottom of the comments there. Is Mr. Rob still here, or should we go into a topic? So one of the topics that Mr. Oh God, an off-road Dodge Viper. That sounds dangerous. One of the topics that Mr. Rob and Simone came up with was electric vehicles. Well, Rob said cars and Simone said bikes. So electric vehicles. Let's talk about electric vehicles because we might have covered it a bit before, but my take on them is, I'm going to click this again. Electric power if you're just looking at it from the vehicle point of view, electric power to me seems pretty good because you've got all that torque. You don't need gearboxes. You should be able to make a really good car using electric power. The problem comes with the battery because no matter whether it's full or empty, it's the same way and it's bloody heavy. But if you can get around that, then an electric car should be quite good. The whole manufacturing part of it, because you're introducing a battery that's got more chemicals, and some of these chemicals are harder to make than other things and more problematic to get rid of, then it starts tainting the whole idea of it being more environmentally friendly, I think. Plus, if you're charging it up, I know it's more economical to make the electricity than it is to power a car with petrol, but it's not like it's a zero pollution option. And I'm wondering how many of these people that have gone out and bought new electric cars could have run whatever they were using or still had at the time for another 50, 100, 150 years, whatever, and not equated to the amount of pollution that it's caused to make that electric car. So that's something to consider as well. So yeah, it's all right. It's all right sort of trying to force manufacturers to make electric cars. It kind of feels like we're being pushed down a route that's not actually for the right reasons. And another thing is there's synthetic fuels that a few companies are working on, and I believe it's Sebastian Vettel. He's been doing some like demonstration runs in his collection of old F1 cars. He's got Nigel Mansell's F1 car and Ayrton Senna's McLaren as well. And when he does demo runs on them, he runs them on synthetic fuels, and it's fine. So that there is methods out there of making normal petrol cars run on synthetic fuels. And I'm sure that's got to be a better solution than building a whole new car with a whole new powertrain just because it doesn't put out carbon dioxide or dioxide at the back. Surely. What's everybody else's thoughts? You tell me why you think electric cars are the future. And if nobody thinks they're the future, you tell me why you don't think electric cars are the future. I'll just highlight this message from Mark because I think it's true. The Yanks convert MX-5s into off-roaders. They look wank. Yes. I can imagine Sarah in Tuned doing something like that. Adam says electric cars are all torque. Very good. Very good. Rob says a lot of embodied start again, can't talk. A lot of embodied carbon in producing a lithium-ion battery. See, there's got to be better ways. And like, I'd love to get a Honda CR. Sure, it's CRV. Honestly, my memory is terrible. Nope, CRZ. Yeah, CRZ. I'd love to get a Honda CRZ, but I don't know how battery's going to last. How long battery's going to last? And it's no good buying a car and then a year, 2 years later, it's not really working because you need to put a new battery in for $2 or $3 grand. It's like sometimes at some point that's going to be like a quarter of value at car when you're buying it. And I thought paying £6 for Godzilla were at £6, £6 for Godzilla were a lot at the time. You imagine having a car and then finding out you've got to spend another $2 grand. Oh, it's terrible. Barry says, I always hated those remote control cars. 10 minutes of fun and 4 hours charge time, about the same as a real electric car. That is true. That is true. I mean, yeah, the lipos now are like super powerful, aren't they? But again, everything's just gone crackers. Like radio controlled cars is brushless or lipos, and you can get in like multiple cells out of them, and they're like, I don't know, they're like rockets. A lot of them. There were some that I saw the other month on a channel called, oh, what's his name? I've seen it for a bit. Kevin something or other, and he does loads of radio control car stuff. And it had got like an 80cc, pretty much like a moped engine in it. And it was just a big truck. Imagine that hitting you. Simone says the carbon footprint to make an electric car is more than internal combustion engine car. Yeah, I can imagine it is. It's far more complicated sort of process to making the drivetrain and I say the battery and everything like that. But yeah, it'd just be nice if someone made, like, whatever happened to hydrogen? Weren't that supposed to be the next thing? Hydrogen powered. Like, you've got the best of both worlds to a certain extent. There, you've got the electric car, so you've got the performance and the torque and the fact that you can have basically a motor in each wheel and you can make it super stable. So you've got all them benefits, but you've also got the benefit of being able to go, oh, I've not got much hydrogen left, going to a hydrogen station, filling up and then being on your way. Not like, oh, I've not got much charge left on my battery, I'm not allowed to let it go down past 10% or something. And then, right, I better go and charge it up. But there's no point in me charging it up past 80% because that last 20% takes like 3 hours to charge it. There's just so many. There's so many things about it that seems more complicated than just a petrol engine. And if they can't make owning and using one less complicated, then I don't think it'd catch on. Well, it's going to catch on because they're going to force people into it, aren't they? There's a motorbike YouTube channel called Teapot One, and he does like a around England circuit, and he's done it on a few different bikes, and he did it on an electric bike, and it took him ages. Like, I think normally he does it in like 24 hours or 2 days or something, some crackers amount of time, some short crackers amount of time. Even on small CC bikes, he'd still do it in the same. But because this electric bike needed charging up all the time, and then he had to go and find chargers that were working, and then there were just things like, yeah, even at like with his petrol bike, obviously you can fill it up with petrol and then go and bugger off and park up somewhere and sit under a shelter if it's raining, or if he wants to have a drink, he can go to a cafe or whatever. But with the electric one, he had to obviously stay with bike at charger, and it was just crackers. And he said that I think it was when he got into Scotland, they were like, the charges that were there were better than the ones in England, but they were so far between. Matt's all inclusive. He's not against any sort of vehicles. So he perhaps even loves longboards. Yeah, I quite like a longboard. Quad roller boots. I'd go for a set of them. Them helicopter things that Da Vinci designed that don't work. Or them like footballs, but in a plastic disc that you jump up and down on. That would be a vehicle. A space hopper, I suppose, is a vehicle as well. So Matt's into all these sorts of crazy things. Ocean liners, that sort of thing. He loves all vehicles, especially bicycles. I think there's a little tongue-in-cheek there. Mark, I reckon Elon Musk, who is completely bonkers, caused the world's government to follow the electric car route regardless of the other ideas I've mentioned. Quite possibly. And is that not sort of representative of the world that money talks, pretty much? Zuckerberg versus Musk in a cage. That'd be good. Adam read Zuckerberg as Zoidberg for a second. Maybe Zuckerberg, Zoidberg, and Musk then in a cage. Simone says JCB Porsche and Toyota are pro hydrogen. I know Toyota did a lot of work on hydrogen stuff, didn't they? But James May that went to, I'm sure it was a Toyota he drove, where there was a whole platform, was like everything was like literally at the bottom of the car, and it was a car that you could switch from left to right and drive as well. It was like pretty cool. Barry says, until someone tells me that it's illegal to drive a petrol car, I'll stick with what works. Yeah, exactly. I foresee a future, and I hope I'm wrong to a certain extent, but I foresee a future where at no point do they ever ban petrol cars from being used. But what they'll do is that it'll become so expensive that only your super rich people like Jason and Paul will be able to afford to run them. No, like the only museums and people that have got a lot of money will be able to afford to run them, because they'll just not be the finances there. Again, we'll be forced into not using them. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Jolly Juju has an opinion. Let us bask in the opinion from the Jolly Juju. And also, I'm assuming that this microphone's fine because nobody said A or what yet. I think electric cars at the moment are not helping the planet at all. It's an environmental catastrophe waiting to happen. It is exactly. But a more important question, Juju, that all of us in the chat, I'm not in the chat, but all of these lovely people in the chat are wanting to know the answer to is, are you going to let me keep Jennifer? That's the important topic right now. Adam says, I think the bigger problem currently is the trend towards. I'm gonna highlight this because it's a good point. Everybody makes good points. So I'm just highlighting Adam's because he's better than everybody else. I think the bigger problem currently is the trend towards bigger vehicles, both internal combustion engines and electric vehicles. Then the safety requirements need to take into account collisions with larger vehicles, and it's just cyclic. It is true. That is very true. It's let's think of examples. We were talking about minis last time. Minis are rate small. But that wasn't a problem when minis first came about. But if you put a mini next to, even if you put it next to another mini, but if you put a mini next to anything nowadays, like a super mini nowadays, dwarfs an actual mini from back in the day. And it's because we've had, it's a good thing to make things safer, but like every time someone ups it, then everything has to catch up with it, don't they? So we've got like side impact bars, airbags, pretensioners, crumple zones. We've got end cap things. You've got to be a certain shape. If you hit someone that's a pedestrian, they don't get smushed and that kind of thing, which is all good stuff. But all this safety stuff comes at a price of weight, and that weight, again, as Adam points out, is sort of it's energy, isn't it? Basically, in a collision, the heavier the car, the more energy needs to be dissipated. There was something else I was going to say, and I can't remember what the bloody hell it was. Bloody hell. Yeah, well, there you go. So you've got more energy there that you need to get rid of. And so you're going to have bigger crashes, even if they're not as fast, if that makes sense. Whereas everybody just drove around in Nerf cars made of foam, we just bounce off each other when you had a crash. And I'm sure Mustard's kids would have loved driving around in a Nerf car with it bending around all over the place. Sounds great. Nerf cars are the future, according to Raymond. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say about that, Adam, so I'll move on. The Chinese have bought up 80% plus of the world mines / land for battery raw material, and they manufacture over 80% of the world's batteries. That is scary in more than one way. So in a way, it's scary because, would any... It'd be different if the whole world acted like they were one world But the whole world doesn't act like the one world. The whole world acts like there are a lot of independent little countries who are trying to do one over on every other independent little country, and that does my nuts in. So it won't be a problem if we all work together, but people don't work together. What if something happens in China, which means for whatever reason they don't make batteries anymore? Who's going to step up into that? Because it's not a quick thing. I can imagine setting up a battery making factory. You've got to work at it for years, so it's going to be a problem if something happens there. It's like valves. There's not many companies. I think there's only like 1 or 2 factories in the world that make valves still, like electric valves, like you'd find in an old radio and stuff. So guitar amp makers now are trying to come up with a different type of valve component that's not a traditional valve with a glass cap on it, because there's only 2 factories making them. What happens when they've gone? They can't carry on just making valves for guitars, otherwise the price of valves is going to be ridiculous. Melik. And they're not very power efficient either. That's why things moved away from valves. But they look nice, don't they? They look like a little glowing glass tube with filaments in it. Who don't like that? I'm just thinking there's like little electrons being blasted through the air to different plates inside, and that's what's conducting. It's lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Matt says, I think all cars should be taken off the road and replaced by bicycles. I'm just going to put that up there and give a solemn face. Okay. We can cut that and edit that one. Everything cars, evening all. I'm editing videos. What are we up to? We're up to pretty much a bit of everything at the moment. No set topics. We're just going at stuff as people recommend them. Although I have written some topics down. And yeah, we're just flying. We're just firing off on all directions. Boaty streams at 10 tonight, isn't it? So I need to at least be off before then. Before I forget. Somebody remind me if I'm still doing this at 9:45. Underscore says apparently Zuckerberg versus Musk may be happening. Okay. Oh, I like Simone when she comes up with these random stuff. Random motorcycle question. The fuel cap keeps jamming up when I put the key in. How would you remedy this? Tried to oil it, but petrol fumes dry it out. The fuel cap keeps jamming up. Or as in like it's hard for you to open and stuff. Generally, it would be it's like lithium grease. Probably the best thing to use on that sort of mechanism. I've never really had that problem, to be honest. The problem I normally have is I forget to, when I'm closing it, to turn the key back to lock position, and I'm pressing it for ages, and you need to turn the key back. But yeah, I mean, maybe it'll just sort itself out where we used, to be honest, on that Simone. But keep having a go at it. Yeah, try like white grease or something. Problem is, it being a fuel tank, you don't want to drop in your petrol that's going to mess stuff up, do you? Adam says, I'm sure glad that I can't use cooking oil to power my diesel 25. Matt says, what is going on here? I think gay people should be legally entitled to a free dessert with every meal. I don't know why I read that as Matt. Well, greetings, Boaty's World. And I mean, why? Barry says, Jennifer needs some TLC, but she's a sound car. Any parts that Paul could give you from Eric means that he would live on in her. This is true, but I think the thing with Eric is either going to be able to buy Eric back and he'll fix him up himself, or he'll not be able to buy him back. So I don't think there's going to be a situation where Paul's got Eric and we'll get rid of the parts anyway. But there's plenty of parts out there for him. Simone is flying the gay flag and giving a thumbs up to Boaty. And then Boaty is saying, "Hey, Simone." And then Barry says, "Here's Boaty." And then Simone says, "Where's my dessert?" And then Boaty says, "When he's Paul Mitchell, it'll happen." Phil Mitchell even. Can you imagine? Let's just leave that one up on there. Can we imagine Jason as Phil Mitchell in EastEnders? I think that'd be a pretty good casting there. I can quite picture Jason getting down and dirty with all the villains in EastEnders. I think he'd play a good Phil Mitchell. Yeah, can you imagine him going around sort of harassing folk and getting him to pay that protection money? Obviously, that's what happens in EastEnders. I really watch it all the time, honest. And Mark points out to Jason that it is, in fact, the evening. So that's good. And then Jason says, "Hey, Mark," like that. Jolly Juju, "I definitely would let you keep Jenny. She's cool, but I'll be with your savings until we become rich." Blow me neck. We've got to become rich now to be able to have more than 14 million cars. It's unbelievable. This is a good point from Simone there. Children are mining the battery components deadly. I mean, that is the thing. It's like with like diamonds, isn't it? There's like diamond mines that people don't get paid a lot for finding diamonds and stuff. And yeah, there's like rare elements, I assume, for batteries that are in that are found in the ground in countries where that aren't developed. So yeah, it's a whole big thing. I bet there's going to be a lot of politics behind it and a lot of money changing hands behind closed doors. That makes no sense. You know what I'm trying to say? Dodgy dealings, money changing hand behind closed. The bloody hell you on about, Simon? You absolute idiot. So Jason just says here, "I'm just home from the Yard of Dreams. I thought you were going to pause today. If your bath night was Sunday, but you had a hot day on a Wednesday, would you have an extra bath that week or just dab around with a flannel? Why would you not have a hot date on a Sunday? Or is that because that's your bath night, so you couldn't have the date on a Sunday? Well, Wednesday's a weird night for a date anyway, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe you need 2 baths." Matt says, "No set topics. Bloody sun melted them." Now you've just reminded me, Matt, by saying bloody sun melted them. Has anybody watched the Euro Crash, the new Grand Tour episode? I myself chose to partake in the visual experience that was Euro Crash yesterday. And I must admit, I found it most amusing. Not only the bit where what I put on Facebook, I don't want to spoil it for people, but there's quite a lot of fun bits in. It's kind of the same sort of thing, though. It's literally just a cut and paste into a Top Gear template and extend it, and it's like everything's pretty much exactly the same. But there is some funny parts in it. Not like that bloody France one. Simone recommends an armpit poller. I don't know what that is. Oh, roller. An armpit roller. Okay. Jason's on fire with comments tonight. Do you think relationships are less likely to survive when the couple have to share a single lavatory? Did you mean lavatory or laboratory? Do you think fat people really are harder to kidnap, or is that just an urban myth and a good slogan for a t-shirt? Who knows? Who knows? Boaty Podgering Cat Slater. I think Boaty would be Jason would be up for that. I'm sure he'll tell us later if he would be. Yeah, the old what's it? Adam, hopefully Eric doesn't have a cracked oil cooler. I managed to crack mine, but couldn't find a replacement. It's just bolted on in 2 of the 3 places currently. You can imagine, are they not sort of shared with anything else then, the oil coolers? I would have thought an oil cooler would be quite a generic thing, wouldn't it, really? It's just really the capacity, I assume. Again, you're far more knowledgeable in that sort of thing than me, Adam. Matt confirms it's a good slogan, Boater, but it's already used on T-shirts. Adam says, I guess if I learnt to TIG weld alloy, I could fix it, but it's not leaked so far. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I think Boaty, Jason, you should be saving some of these for your streams. The gold, although I've heard that one before. Do you think anyone that can't use chopsticks should be banned from eating Chinese food? No. I had some food from the Chinese today. I had pancake rolls. I didn't need to use chopsticks for them. No, I'm not on about pancake rolls, am I? Crispy duck rolls. Pancakes. Oh, you know what I'm on about. And chicken egg foo young, which I couldn't eat because I had already had enough when I'd eaten the crispy duck stuff. Who has dates when it's not Christmas? Nice one, Matt. And Adam has watched Eurocrash, and he says it is indeed a hoot, so people should watch it. You should be out there watching it instead of watching me doing this nonsense. Matt says, yeah, I watched it. Not a bad one, but it's definitely lost what once made it great, in my opinion. I kind of got a bit fed up of the trio before Top Gear ended, to be honest. Quite a bit before Top Gear ended. I don't mind James May. I'll watch pretty much anything he does. Richard Hammond's all right. Jeremy Clarkson, he's just not there anymore. But my opinion counts for zilch because I liked it when Chris Evans, Chris Harris, and Matt LeBlanc did Top Gear. I thought that were good, but now it's got Paddy McGuinness on it. Nope. No. Here we've got a question from Adam. How much power is too much power in a car? Good question. I suppose it depends on the car, doesn't it? Because I remember when the Alpha, was it the 156? Was it the Alpha? Or was it the Saab 9.3? It might have been the Saab 9.3 Aero. They said, oh, that's as much power you can put through a front wheel drive car. Anything other than that's just a waste. It'll not put it down. And then we had that Volkswagen Golf, didn't we, with that trick differential that could put power down wherever it wanted to be. So that was cool. And is the number different for front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, and all wheel drive? Well, all wheel drive should be more power, shouldn't it? Because you've got more traction. Rear wheel drive, you've got more traction because of where the driven wheels are, in theory. So, but yeah. Ooh, couple of interesting ones there. Simone can't watch it due to the fact that she refuses to pay to watch telly. Yeah, they're not even repeated anywhere, are they? Well, I'm sure you'll be able to watch them at some point, even if I just give you our Prime login details. In fact, have we still got it? Or was it? Yeah, we must have if I watched it. We'll sort something out. Maybe I'll watch it at yours on my details or something. And Matt said, I enjoyed his farming show. Oh, yeah, I forgot he was doing that farming thing, weren't he? Oh, now then. Matt says, yeah, ruined by Paddy and the cricketer who wishes he was taller, so he wears silly-heeled trainers. Deal with it, numpty, you're not 6'3". You're 6'3", not Clarkson. 6'3" still big for me. Farming show was good, Adam said. I might. Oh, it's got Jeremy Clark. Is Jeremy Clarkson in it all the time? And Black Lines is here. Hello, Black Lines. Hope you're doing well. Flicks tour. Flicks tour. Flicks tour. Good site for streaming. Oh, so is it like a thingamajig? A thingamajig streaming site. And Simone confirms she doesn't have Scammazon Prime installed on anything in her home. Scammazon Prime. Everything Cars. Have you seen the Top Gear BL episode? Is that British Leyland episode? I'm pretty sure I have. Was that the one where they filled the Austin Princess with water and it leaked? Was it that one? I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them, except the ones with Paddy McGuinness in them. Because it's bloody useless. I think it's about time for an advert.
Today's video is sponsored by Toast Rack for when you don't want sweaty toast.
There you go. Who's got a toast rack, actually? That's something nobody's talked about this for bloody ages. Who's still got a toast rack? And if you still got a toast rack, do you use it or did you use it before? I've not got one yet. I keep looking. Every time I go in a charity shop, at the moment, I'm after a metal toast rack and a flat cap. In fact, I've not been in one since I started looking for a flat cap. So a metal toast rack. Matt says, yeah, that's my point. He's already tall, but he wears the biggest sole trainers available, so he stands taller. Well, that's just rude, isn't it? Who wants to be the tallest person ever? It's like setting up a competition to see who's the tallest out of you and your friends, and then being really proud if you're a little bit taller than someone else. I enjoyed it. Everything's Cards, yeah. To be that kind of stuff. It's I enjoyed some of the specials and the episodes that they did. Yeah, there's a lot that I like. It's just I don't really like Jeremy Clarkson, but when he's just not just him, he can be all right. If it's like the Jeremy Clarkson show, 14 quid. Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, that was a special toast rack. 14 quid that were at an antique centre, which is like a good 10-15 minutes walk from here, which is really nice actually. I need to go down there more often. Here we go. Hard hitting news. I've not got my news sound effects. God damn it. Oh, I disappeared. I went backwards and took myself out of the stream. Right, hang on. So, yeah, I'll not go looking for that again in case I click backwards again for some random reason. I hope you can still see me. Doob. I'll put a video on, see if you can see that in a bit. Oh, yes, good. I'm going to put a video on. Oh, they've all disappeared. Oh, no, they aren't. I'm going to put a video on. You can watch that for a bit.
It's not as hard as you think. Just close your eyes.
Oh, that was exciting, weren't it? There we go. I still didn't find the news intro, so we'll just have to go toast rack news. Rob says he has a toast rack. Second part of toast rack news. Rob says he never uses it. Matt says I have a toast rack and I know how to use it. Is that what's in your pocket? Everything cars. I've never heard of a toast rack. Well, you're not alone. Apparently they're not a thing anymore. You find them when you have a bed and breakfast, and they bring you toast. Hopefully, if you've gone to a good one. Simone has no toast rack. Adam says his toast remains unracked. Blacklines is very well, but we'll move on to the second thing that he said. I eat my toast immediately. Toast rack not required. That is a good plan. To be honest, I just stand my toast up against each other like that until it's cooled down a bit, and then I butter it. But sometimes I just butter it while it's still hot, and it's just hot and melted buttered anyway. So don't really make much sense. But it is nice and civilized and gives you a feeling of doing well in life if you've got yourself a toast rack. Did my room implode? No, on the mouse here on the side. There's a back button, and I accidentally clicked that because the wire got stuck on the microphone stand, and it took myself out of the broadcast, which is a useful feature. I wish they'd get off. I wish you'd have to click yes, you want to exit it, but apparently not. Everything Cars says I loved it when I was little. I still do, but I wish they did not fill them up with water. Oh, going back to that episode of Top Gear. Yeah, they do ruin some cars. That Adam points out quite rightly that wasn't the right button. Blackness, am I back? I said. Simone confirms I am back. Adam says I am back. Blackline says yes, but not at the front. Matt says yes. Juju says we see you loud and clear. I don't know how that works. Everything Cars. I bet the princess disintegrated a day later. Quite possibly. Matt says, remember having billions in the bank may put you under too much pressure. That is true, Matt. That is true. And Simone has just said that she forgot to make dinner. Well, I think that's quite good. That means the live stream is so exciting that it tricked you into not wanting to eat, even though you had a nice KFC for your dinner by the looks of it. I've not had a KFC for ages. Oh, I'm not having a KFC. Juju says Sputnik, and I loved that song. Ah. And Simone says, my toast always has cheese on it. Rack not required. What about cheese toasties? Like, we've got one of them. Well, it's not is it a Foreman grill? I think it might be one, actually. But that kind of thing. The 2 hot plates grill. And they're really good for toasted cheese sandwiches. Everything Cars has just uploaded a new video on his channel, so we shall all go and have a look at that later. Well, after we've watched Boaty's streaming do that. Blackline says, my life isn't calm enough for a toast rack. I feel like you have a nice controlled breakfast rather than putting out fires all morning, kids. Yeah, I'm past the past the kids thing. There's other kid issues. And Simone rightly points out KFC was lunch. See, I say dinner for lunch, and I say tea for what you would call dinner. So, and the thing is, I've always said dinner is your midday meal and tea is your evening meal. But Julie says lunch and dinner, and obviously my parents say dinner and tea. So when we talk about, oh, you're coming round for dinner, we have to make sure that we're talking about the same meal. Otherwise, it gets very complicated. I've got another topic. Another topic, and that is, funnily enough, what's the best chocolate bar? That is some good reasoning there. Maybe I should start having a KFC every time I go and work on. Margaret, Margaret's got a squeaky alternator belt again, which is tray annoying because that's the only thing on it that keeps squeak. Well, it's not the only thing. The thing that keeps reoccurring squeakiness on it, and it's got like I've put a better alternator adjuster on it as well. So I might just put another belt on because I think that last belt I got was cheap. So I think I might put another belt on proper. There's one at Bolts as well that's not a very well bolt in there, so I might have to repair that. But Margaret, she's always wanting attention. Oh, and I did the air filter and the oil breather on Henny as well. They needed doing. What else did I do on Henny? Oh, I think that were it. Oh, and then I trolled all the engine plastics. She looks quite shiny now. Well, the metal's still mucky though. Right, let's have a look. So Matt says, according to Wikipedia, topics aren't made anymore. But I'm sure I've seen some. Ujudge says Lion Bar. So we've got. Should I make notes? No, there's going to be too many, aren't they? Lion Bar. I agree with that. Lion Bars are pretty cool. Simone says the best chocolate bar is the cheapest. Incorrect, Simone. The best chocolate bar is the one that you have when you really want a chocolate bar. It doesn't have to be the cheapest. I like Galaxy or Minstrels. They're my favourite chocolate, but they're not a chocolate bar. So I'd say a Galaxy. Black Lines is way out of line. He says Bounty is the best chocolate bar. You're completely wrong. That is the worst chocolate bar ever. They're disgusting. Mark shows us that he's not a man of high tastes. He's a regular man, like a lot of us. He likes dairy milk. Good choice. Simone says regular chocolate bars are smaller, but now over £1. It's disgusting. That is true. They do seem to be smaller and more expensive. Although, it's kind of. So as soon as we started going back to the office, we've got blooming vending machines in the office now that they try to put healthy-ish stuff in there. So they put there's a couple of nut bars, grain bars, like picnic bars basically. And then there's some dried fruit thing, which I'm pretty sure is just like a really sugary fruit syrupy gel thing, then a wind you up thing. But obviously there's all chocolate and stuff. And then they were super expensive in there, so I don't even know what a normal one would be. Rocky Bars with a milky coffee. Rocky Bars is a good choice. Everything Car says dairy milk again. What the hell's that black magic there? Matt says a double decker with nuts. I don't remember that. I mean, a double decker is really good. That's possibly in my top 5. But with nuts, I don't remember that. Black Line says, I used to have a dangerous addiction to Fox's classic bars with a hot cup of tea. It's why I got fat. It's funny, when you say Fox's, I'm sure years and years and years and years and years and years ago, I bought a Renault Clio RSI. So it was like the Mark II Clio, I think it was. Bear with me 2 seconds. No, Mark 1. It can't be a Mark 1. No, Mark 1. Mark 1 Clio RSI. And there was one I went to look at that had been done up to like a 16 valve, but I got there just as someone else got there to look at it, and they ended up buying it, so I didn't get that. But while we were at that end, I think we were up near Manchester. Wow, it was basically wherever the Fox's Biscuits factory is. I phoned up this advert, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll bring it down to this road, this specific road near where Fox's Biscuits factory was." And he brought this car down for me to look at, and literally every panel on it had got a dent. Like it was like almost like somebody had just used it for target practice for football. Every panel had a dent on it. Absolute waste of my time. Waste of my bloody time. And then I managed to get one from Doncaster, which is a lot closer. So everything cars. I'm going to go back to your previous comment on there because it is a good question. What's your favourite restaurant? He says. Do you mean like fast food restaurant like McDonald's or Burger King and that kind of thing? If you do, it's really difficult, isn't it? Taco Bell near us, because some of them it depends which ones you go to. Like Taco Bell near us is awful, absolute waste of time, horrendous. But any Burger King to go to, they seem to be really good. McDonald's, it's all right. It's just the same as every other one. KFC, I really like KFC, but again, that depends which one you go to. So yeah, there's a few. Yeah, it's good. A good question. All right, let's go back down again. Matt says, bite the top and bottom off a Rocky bar and use it as a straw for said milky coffee. You do it, Matt. You go for it. Maybe we can film that on Saturday. Yes. Rob, get some Rocky bars in. Or we'll bring some in case you forget. Do you have coffee? And do you have milk? We need 3 things for Saturday: milk, coffee, or hot water, and sugar, and Rocky bars. Everything Cars asks what people's favourite biscuits are, and then Juju says a Raider. One blooming X a Raider. I know there's Space Raider crisps. I don't know what a Raider is. Is that another Frenchy biscuit? Should it be Le Raider or Le Raidier? Matt says limited edition double decker with nuts. Well, I'm glad it was limited edition. Everything Cars. Custard creams are the best. Prove me wrong. Let's think about it. See, I am partial to a custard cream. They are nice, but there's another one, isn't there, that Foxes do that's like, it looks like a jammy Dodger, but with a fancy pattern on it. So it's got jam in the middle, but then it's got custard cream around the edge. So it's basically like a custard cream with like a jam in the centre. I think they're better, but only just. This is Rob's way of telling Rob what snacks he wants on Saturday. Yeah, let's just go through all food related items. Blackline says, I do like a dime bar as well. Yes, slightly rippled with a flat underside. Armadillos. Or dame, or whatever they're called nowadays. Not had one for years, though. Yeah, the last time I had one, there were them tiny little fun-sized things that came in other stuff. Jaffa Cakes are another dangerous liaison. Yeah, Jaffa Cakes, I can quite easily eat a whole packet of Jaffa Cakes without thinking about it. He says, I need some chocolate now. Oh, and Simone, dime bar, smooth on the outside, crunchy on the inside. Yeah, that's the armadillo one, isn't it? Anyone ever eat salt and vinegar Pringles with Jaffa Cakes? No, I can't stand Pringles. They're too conformist. All of them exactly the same shape and size. No good. Everything Cars. It's like the workers at McDonald's make burgers with their fist. As every time I get one, it looks like someone, like some two out their bad day on it. Took out their bad day on it. Oh, Garibaldi. Now that's a good call. It's not very practical though, is it? But it's a good call. Black Lines agrees. And Matt says he likes armadillos. That's great. Party Dodgers. Yes, Juju. Juju is a big fan of the old Party Dodgers, which is sort of she gets Party Rings and Jammy Dodgers mixed up. So I still don't know which one she's on about. I assume Party Rings. Ah, Raider was the Twix old name just because I'm like so funny, man. But was it the old name in France? Because I don't remember it being called Raider here. Maybe it was. Oh, they did a retro edition. Yeah, I don't remember him being called Vader. Maybe I missed out on that. Missed out on that craziness. Drifter bars. Were they like? Oh, they got like caramel and wafer and chocolate. Oh, and Simone's in love with Jammy Dodgers now. Jammy Dodgers are great. Brandy Snaps. Now they Spira. Yes, Spira was the best. That is the best chocolate bar. Well, it would be if it was still around, because it was basically like a straw, and you could see the pattern twisting around on the inside. Spira was the best, and I don't know why they stopped doing it. Mark, Brandy Snaps on a biscuit, I don't think. Prove me wrong with that one. Skicks here. Greetings, Skick. Jammy Dodgers followed by bourbons. Okay, yeah. Cadbury's Boost, that is a good one. And the motorbike, the racing bikes from the 90s that had the Boost colours on were quite cool. What the blooming heck is a Grantham Ginger? What was that Cadbury bar that was filled with fruit in a purple wrapper? I can't remember. I don't remember that. There was a picnic bar. That was. I think that might be what you're on about. A picnic one. So it was basically like a cereal bar with chocolate on top, and it would chewy. That were in a purple wrapper, I think. Everything Cars says I need a toast rack. Yes, you do. Experience the rack. Batland says Spyro Twirl gave him toothache every time. Rolos are too. These Rolos are all right, but then I'd rather have the munchies, the mint munchies, the square things. They're really nice. Grantham Gingers are ginger biscuits from Grantham. Well, I suppose they were a silly question, really, weren't it? Do you love anyone enough to give them your last Rolo? Nope. Aztec, is that a biscuit stick or a chocolate bar? Oh, I don't remember that. It's from the 80s. Apparently. Looks like a Mars bar. Weird. Oh, Reese's U, they're horrible. It's like the worst chocolate ever. Awful. Everything Cars asks, would you ever own an American car? I don't think I would if I had the space and the roads to drive one on. But like I did a video at Lock Park the other week, and there were a Cadillac there, and it was huge. There's literally no way I could fit that onto my drive in the garage, and if I left it on the road, it'd cause a right problem. Fuse, yes, that's it. Cadbury's Fuse. Let me find that. Ah, yes, I do remember those. They're a bit like Why did they stop making them? They were a bit like Lion bars, but with fruit in them, weren't they? Star Bar and Turkish Delight. Turkish Delight's nice. I like Cinder Toffee, which is basically just the inside of Crunchies. Crunchies is another favourite of mine. Let's have an advert.
Asda everyday tissues for when you need a tissue every day.
Go out and buy Asda tissues every day. Well, we've certainly ploughed along through chocolate bars and biscuits, haven't we? We didn't even get to best pub, worst pub, or hot chocolate. Should it be banned? Because it should be banned because hot chocolate's a disgusting violation of human taste, really. So I think we'll end it there. We'll give everybody a chance to decompress or wake up, either one of them two, before Mr. Boaty reanimates onto our screens at 11. Reanimates. It's like unanimated, reanimated. I don't know what I'm saying. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. It would be good for you to start saying goodbye to each other, even though you're going to see each other in 26 minutes. So Adam has taken the lead by saying good night, everyone. Good night. Oh, now I need to hang around while I answer this question from Simone. Now, this is one of the hard-hitting questions. In fact, let's play some news intro that's not really relevant. So yeah, on a motorcycle, which side do you prefer to fill the petrol tank? Now then, I always do it from the left, which is the side that the bike's leaning to. Yeah, I always do it from that side because I always pull up at that side at pump. Actually, I just do it from whichever side the pump's at. Sod that. I just do it from whichever side the pump's at, but I always try and pull up so the pump's on the left-hand side. How about everybody else? Oh, now we're all saying goodbye. Oh, and Simone says left, same here. Good. I'm glad we got that out of the way. Don't go yet. I have spam to dispose of. Well, it's been a good chat. I'm glad I decided to do it. I was going to do a live chat, as Simone knows. I was going to do a live chat from Henrietta. But while I was coming up with the idea and texting Simone about it, I was actually finishing off a beer, which wasn't the best idea to be thinking about going and doing a drive round. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining. Been really good. Nice to see Boaty jump in and have a bit of interaction going on there. So yeah, hopefully we'll see everybody on Boaty's stream at 10 o'clock because this is Monday, so I need to remember it's 10 o'clock on a Monday. And yes, thank you very much for joining. Take care. Have a good rest of you. Oh, Pingu, you're just joining as I'm finishing. I'll have to see you up on Jason's stream. I'll see you, Ebby, over there on Jason's stream. And I'll just play you out on an outro. So yeah, take care, everybody, and farewell.